Machiavelli wrote this not to glorify cruelty, but to remind rulers that pity does not protect a throne. In every age, respect is won by command, never by apology. You live in a world where those who behave like prey, apologizing constantly, explaining every move, begging for approval, are quietly dismissed. Prey wait to be chosen, players choose. Prey bend their backs to be accepted. Players set the board, so acceptance is no longer necessary. If you recognize yourself shrinking in conversations, saying sorry when you did nothing wrong, or hesitating to voice your view, know that is the scent of prey, and predators smell it instantly. History teaches the same lesson. In Machiavelli's world, a prince who looked weak was devoured. He could survive mistakes of policy, but he could not survive the perception of softness. The same dynamic holds today. In business, relationships, and social life, the person who hesitates, who pleads, who signals they will accept scraps, is quietly removed from the game. Respect flows not to those who need it most, but to those who command it least. Picture the difference. A deer in the field hears every sound and twitches in panic, hoping the predator overlooks it. A lion moves through the same field with slow calm, and the world shifts around him. The same contrast plays out in your daily interactions. The person who waits for permission becomes invisible. The one who enters a room grounded, shoulders back, silence intact, becomes the gravity everyone orbits. Do not confuse noise for presence. The predator's calm is louder than the prey's scramble. You must learn to move like the player on a chessboard, not the pawn that hopes others spare it. The pawn reacts to every threat. The player shapes the entire game. In conversation, stop, explaining to prove your worth. In disagreement, remain calm, steady your voice, and state your stance once without chasing approval. This stillness unnerves those who expect weakness. Respect follows where certainty resides. Erase the habits of prey. Stop apologizing for existing. Replace sorry with thank you. Replace I just think with I have decided. Replace if it's okay with this is the plan. Language is armor. Use it. Your first step on this path is brutal clarity. Society rewards predators, not victims. No one will rescue you from weakness. Train yourself to command through calm, through decisive presence, through words sharpened like steel. Step onto the board not as prey, but as a player. Better to be the hunter than the hunted. Your mind is your throne. If you cannot command it, you will be ruled by it. Every empire begins in thought, and every collapse begins there too. The stories you repeat to yourself are not harmless whispers. They are laws written on the walls of your inner court. Psychology shows that repeated thoughts carve deep paths, shaping how you see the world and how the world responds to you. Tell yourself you are prey long enough, and you move like prey, you speak like prey, and you invite predators to circle you. Rule your mind, and the throne is secured. Leave it undefended, and enemies walk straight into the palace. Look at your daily life. Distraction is not just inconvenience, it is invasion. Every notification, every scroll, every endless argument in your head is a mob storming the gates of your castle. You may not notice because the invaders do not arrive with weapons. They arrive with flashing lights and trivial updates. Yet the result is the same. The ruler is overthrown, and the throne is left empty. A mind that belongs to the crowd cannot belong to you. The player protects his court, decides which voices enter, and silences the noise at will. Imagine a king exiled from his own castle, betrayed not by soldiers, but by the weakness of his advisors. That is what happens when you allow every anxious thought to advise you. You hand the throne to doubt, to fear, to hesitation. The throne is never vacant. If you do not sit on it with authority, your lesser impulses will. Weak thoughts become tyrants, and the sovereign becomes a servant in his own court. Command begins with language. Weak. I can't handle this. Strong. I will face this. Weak. I hope they accept me. Strong. I decide how I stand. Weak. Maybe I'll try. Strong. I will do it. Your words are the guards at the gates. If they are soft, the invaders walk in. If they are sharp, the gates hold. Train yourself to hear the difference. Do not let your own tongue dethrone you. Practice ruling your mind through deliberate acts. Guard your mornings from distraction. Control what information enters, the way a king controls which envoys are allowed into his court. When disagreement arises, hold steady. Someone may mock your choice to put your phone away during work or to refuse shallow entertainment. Do not argue. Say calmly, "This is how I choose to rule my time," and let silence finish the defense. Calm certainty disarms more than loud rebuttal. Self-respect begins here. Before the world will recognize you as a player, you must prove to yourself that you can guard the throne inside your own head. The war for respect is not fought in public first. It is fought in the private chambers of thought, in the discipline of language, in the courage to exile weakness. If you lose there, you will lose everywhere. If you win there, the rest follows. Rule your mind or be ruled. Morning is a battlefield. The first hour of your day decides whether you strike like a commander or stumble like prey. Science shows that willpower is strongest in the morning before decision fatigue erodes it. The brain's pathways are pliable then, more likely to solidify around the first actions you take. What you do when the sun rises sets the pattern for what follows. Win that opening hour and you dictate the terms of the day. Lose it and you spend the rest of the hours recovering ground you surrendered at dawn. Prey surrenders immediately. The alarm rings and they reach for their phone. They scroll, consuming the noise of other people's agendas before they have defined their own. Their mind is not theirs by breakfast. Contrast this with the player, who rises and sharpens his weapons before entering the fray. Exercise is not just physical, it primes discipline. Journaling is not indulgence, it clarifies strategy. Reading is not distraction, it feeds the intellect that directs the troops of action. These rituals are not chores, they are weapons laid out on the table. When you reach for them first, you send a message to yourself. The throne will not be stolen today. Think of dawn as an enemy general. If you allow him to surprise you, the battle is over before it begins. You walk into noon already conquered. But if you rise with a plan, you strike first. You dictate the ground of combat. You cannot control the chaos that waits outside, but you can control the discipline that arms you before stepping into it. That control is your fortress. Language reveals allegiance. Weak. I'll try to get up earlier. Strong. I rise. At this hour. Weak. I should work out. Strong. Training is part of my command. Weak. I hope today goes well. Strong. I will shape today. Your tongue either sharpens your sword or snaps it in half before you fight. Use words that build steel. You may face pushback. Someone will mock your refusal to stay up late drinking or laugh at your choice to read when others scroll. Do not defend with long explanations. State calmly, "I value the morning too much to waste the night," and move on. Leadership is not begging for agreement. It is holding ground with composure. Respect is built not in grand declarations, but in repeated victories over the first hour. The one who rules mornings rules momentum. The one who wastes mornings waits for mercy. Treat dawn as the test of sovereignty, because that is exactly what it is. Each sunrise is war. Each choice at dawn decides whether you enter the day as prey or as a player. Win the first hour, win the war. The predator waits, the prey panics. Stillness is not weakness, it is control. Neuroscience shows that when stress rises, cortisol floods the body and forces frantic reactions. The parasympathetic system, when activated by deliberate, calm breathing and composed posture, does the opposite. It lowers the surge and restores clarity. The one who controls his body controls his decisions. The one who panics is ruled by chemicals, not strategy. Stillness is not passive. It is the active command to silence chaos inside and outside. In the modern world, you see this truth every day. In meetings, the person who fills the air with chatter looks desperate. The one who holds silence, who waits before speaking, who lets others reveal their anxiety, commands attention without force. People lean toward calm the way soldiers lean toward a general who does not flinch. Presence is power, and silence multiplies. You do not need to dominate with volume. You dominate by refusing to be pulled into noise. Pray talk to prove they exist. Players wait until their words cannot be ignored. Imagine a chessboard. Pawns rush forward, colliding, scrambling for space, driven by fear of being irrelevant. Yet the queen, the most powerful piece, can wait in perfect stillness. She does not move every turn. She waits until one strike reshapes the board. That is how you must learn to move. Calm, poised, unhurried. Stillness is not delayed. Stillness is calculation. The frantic are trapped by their own haste. The composed trap them with timing. The result is not just wasted time, but eroded power. The player does the opposite. He invests in strength. He turns to training when others turn to distraction. He deepens his knowledge instead of numbing his mind. He feeds the instincts that harden resolve and starves the ones that soften it. Every choice is a battlefield ration. One goes to the crowned wolf, the other to the chained one. Picture the duel inside. Two wolves circle each other. One is crowned, eyes sharp, body disciplined. The other is chained, lazy, begging for scraps. Both live inside you. The one who eats grows stronger, the one who starves grows weaker. If you continue to feed fear, complaint, distraction, and delay, the chained wolf will snap the links and dominate. If you feed focus, discipline, courage, and action, the crowned wolf commands and respect follows. This is not metaphor alone. It is practical psychology. Reinforce one pattern and you weaken the other. No neutrality exists. Language reveals which wolf you feed. Weak. I don't feel like it. Strong. I will do it anyway. Weak. I deserve a break. Strong. I haven't earned one yet. Weak. It doesn't matter today. Strong. Every day matters. Each phrase is food placed in a bowl. Choose carefully where you set it. Words repeated often build either the sovereign or the servant. You may face disagreement when you choose discipline. Friends may tease you for leaving early to train or for choosing books over entertainment. Do not argue or defend with long explanations. State calmly, I feed what strengthens me. That silence afterward is sharper than any debate. You are not obligated to justify sovereignty to those who waste theirs. The law is merciless. What you feed will rule you. Self-respect is not abstract. It is the direct consequence of 1,000 meals served to the right instincts. Every repetition stacks the crown on one wolf or another. Feed weakness and you kneel. Feed strength and you rise. Feed the crowned. Wolf starve the chained one. Life is a chessboard and most people move like pawns. They react, they stumble forward one square at a time, and they hope someone spares them. But respect is not given to pawns. It belongs to the player, the strategist who sees the entire board, who plans not only the next move, but the chain of moves that follow. Machiavelli and Sun Tzu understood the same principle. Fortune bends to those who anticipate, not those who drift. To rise from prey to player, you must step off the pawn's path and take the perspective of the one who commands the game. Military history shows the cost of short-sightedness. Generals who charged without strategy often fell, no matter their numbers. Victories came to those who anticipated terrain, timing, and the enemy's psychology. The principle translates directly to your life. If you operate without strategy, living day to day with no vision, you play as a piece on someone else's board. But when you think 3 moves ahead in your work, in your relationships, in your finances, you seize initiative. Anticipation prevents exploitation. You stop reacting and begin dictating. In modern terms, the prey is the employee who only works for the paycheck in front of him, never building skills or leverage. The prey is the person who drifts in relationships, surprised. When betrayal arrives, the prey is the spender who never plans, shocked when debt chains him. The player is different. He sees the hidden traps. He moves with patience, knowing each small decision leads to larger positioning. He invests in knowledge before it is demanded. He strengthens alliances before conflict arises. He builds reserves before the storm. Each choice is not just a move. It is part of a campaign. Picture the pawn that reaches the far side of the board. It transforms into a queen, the most powerful piece capable of reshaping the game. That is the image of self-respect earned through strategy. You may begin as a pawn, underestimated, dismissed, but if you advance with foresight, protecting your moves, sacrificing what is necessary, you metamorphose into power itself. This transformation is not luck, it is the reward of vision. Language must follow strategy. Weak, I'll see what happens. Strong, here's what I'm preparing for. Weak, I didn't expect this. Strong, I accounted for this. Possibility. Weak. I just hope it works out. Strong. I'm structuring it to work. Each phrase is a declaration of role, piece or player. Do not speak like a pawn and expect the respect of a player. You may encounter resistance when you act strategically. Someone may accuse you of being calculating or too serious. Do not explain with defensiveness. Say calmly, I prefer to plan my moves. That ends the matter. Planning is not cold, it is survival. The board belongs to those who see beyond. The immediate. The law of the chessboard is merciless. Pieces are moved, players move them. If you do not choose to think strategically, someone else is already moving you for their game. Respect comes only when you step back, see the board, and act like the one in command. Stop being a piece. Become the player. Discipline is the fire that forges self-respect. Without it, strength stays imagined. With it, strength becomes visible in every choice you make. Psychology shows that habits repeated consistently form neural armor. The brain rewards repetition by wiring behaviors into automatic responses. When discipline is trained, it no longer relies on fleeting motivation. It becomes default. There's why the powerful guard their rituals. They know respect is not built in a single dramatic act, but in the iron law of repetition. The prey lives by mood. If they feel tired, they skip the gym. If they feel distracted, they scroll instead of reading. Their lives bend with every passing impulse. The player is different. He treats discipline as ritual. Sleep is not optional. It is sacred preparation. Training is not seasonal. It is steel-hammered daily. Reading is not a pastime. It is sharpening the blade of thought. Reflection is not indulgence. It is command over the lessons of experience. These daily rituals build the structure that cannot be shaken by circumstance. A sovereign cannot afford to wait for mood. He rules by law, and discipline is the law he writes for himself. Picture a blacksmith forging a sword. Each strike of the hammer burns away weakness, shapes the steel, hardens the edge. That is what discipline does. Every repetition is a strike against laziness, a blow against distraction, a cut against doubt. The fire is uncomfortable, but without fire the blade stays brittle. You cannot bypass the forge and still expect to carry iron will. Self-respect is not a gift. It is a weapon forged in daily flame. Your language must align with ritual. Weak. I'll do it when I feel like it. Strong. I do it because it is time. Weak. I hope I stay consistent. Strong. This is who I am every day. Weak. I don't have time. Strong. I make time. Every phrase you speak is either an excuse that softens the metal or a strike that sharpens it. Choose deliberately. You may face disagreement when you protect your rituals. Friends may push you to stay out late, mocking your refusal to break your routine. Do not argue. Say with calm firmness, I guard my mornings, so I guard my nights, then move on. Boundaries defended with clarity are harder than stone. Those who cannot respect them are revealing they have none of their own. Discipline is not punishment. It is sovereignty. It frees you from the chaos of impulse. It builds self-respect because it proves you are a ruler over yourself, not a servant to whims. Each ritual repeated is another brick in the fortress of your authority. Fail to build it, and you stay prey, scrambling for control. Build it daily, and you rise as a player, carrying an iron will that cannot be bought or broken. Forge discipline daily until it becomes iron. True rulers are respected because they need nothing. Machiavelli observed that power rests not in constant demands for approval, but in the independence that makes others come to you. The one who appears untouchable, who cannot be swayed by flattery or broken by insult, earns the crown no one can take. They beg for respect and are ignored. Players emanate respect, and it returns to them multiplied. The shift happens when you stop chasing and begin radiating. This principle is visible in every negotiation. The prey enters desperate, signaling they cannot walk away. Their weakness leaks from every word and gesture. The player enters with self-respect intact. They do not plead for terms. They state them calmly and let silence work. This presence unsettles others because it reveals strength that does not depend on outcome. Respect flows toward the one who needs least. This law governs relationships too. The person who clings, who begs for constant reassurance, loses value in the eyes of others. The one who stands firm, secure in their worth, draws loyalty without demand. In every arena, self-respect is the currency. Spend it wisely and it compounds. Waste it in desperation and it vanishes. Picture the throne carved from stone, unshakable even when storms rage around it. Lightning strikes, winds howl, but the throne does not move. That is the image of becoming untouchable. Your discipline, your rituals, your composure, they become the stone foundation. When criticism comes, it cannot break you. When praise comes, it does not inflate you. You remain steady. The prey bends under every change in weather. The player remains sovereign regardless of the storm. Language reveals whether you are untouchable. Weak. I need you to respect me. Strong. I carry myself with respect. Weak. Please agree with me. Strong. This is my stance. Weak. I can't handle rejection. Strong. I decide my value. Each shift moves you from dependence to sovereignty. Speak as though the crown is already on your head. Practice this discipline in conflict. If someone raises their voice to provoke you, do not match volume. Pause, breathe, lower your tone. Say once, with steadiness, "I've heard your point. Here is my decision." Do not debate. Do not defend. Authority is felt more when calm than when loud. The frantic will tire themselves, the calm will outlast them. Language betrays your state. Weak. I don't know, maybe. Strong. This is my stance. Weak. I guess we could. Strong. Here's what we'll do. Each word is either panic or sovereignty. Stillness begins with the tongue, not just the body. Train stillness daily. Sit without rushing to. Check a device. Walk without headphones. Hold silence in conversation longer than feels comfortable. These small victories build the muscle of composure. In time, you will feel the shift. While others race and fumble, you will radiate control. People will feel it before you speak. Respect follows that energy because it cannot be faked. The predator waits because he knows the frantic prey destroy themselves. Master stillness, and you become untouchable. The calm command, the frantic fall. A ruler falls not only to strong enemies, but more often to weak allies. Machiavelli warned that fragile partnerships and disloyal companions destroy a prince faster than open opposition. The same law governs your life. What weakens you is not always the obvious threat. It is the subtle drain that you tolerate. Respect cannot grow in a court filled with flatterers, distractions, and vices. To rise from prey to player, you must cut weakness with surgical precision, or it will cut you down first. Look at the alliances you keep. Toxic friends who mock your ambition, who demand your time without giving value, who resent your growth. These are not allies. They are liabilities. They stand in your circle like cracked shields, collapsing the moment pressure comes. Every hour you spend appeasing them is an hour stolen from your command. The prey keeps them around out of fear of loneliness. The player eliminates them because survival demands it. Loyalty is rare. Choose it carefully, guard it fiercely, and discard what fails the test. The same applies to distraction. Endless notifications, trivial gossip, the constant pull of digital noise. These are not harmless habits. They are invaders storming your fortress, stripping you of focus, fragmenting your authority. A player cannot fight a war if his attention is divided across 1,000 small fires. You cannot command when every vibration in your pocket dictates your mood. Silence the noise. Guard your focus like a weapon. When you remove distraction, you do not lose entertainment. You reclaim sovereignty. Imagine a warrior before battle. He inspects his weapons. One sword is sharp, balanced, and deadly. Another is cracked, dull, unreliable. He does not carry both. He discards the weak blade, knowing it will betray him at the worst moment. That is what you must do with habits. Relationships and routines that weaken you. If they cannot serve you in the heat of conflict, they must be cut away before the battle begins. Sentimentality is the luxury of prey. Precision is the duty of the player. You may face resistance when you cut. Someone will accuse you of being cold for protecting your time or ruthless for declining their endless demands. Do not defend with long speeches. Answer with calm certainty. I no longer allow what drains me. That is not cruelty. It is sovereignty. The throne cannot be shared with weakness. Weak. I don't want to upset them. Strong. I must protect my focus. Weak. It's not that bad. Strong. It does not serve me. Each phrase is a blade. Wield them with clarity. Ruthless elimination is not about hatred, it is about survival. Every moment spent carrying. Weakness is a moment spent bending your back to prey. Cut what does not strengthen you. Protect what fuels you. Rule with discipline sharper than steel. Cut weakness before it cuts you. Reputation is more powerful than truth. Machiavelli observed that rulers often survive not because they are just, but because they appear unshakable. Power flows toward perception. The world judges what it sees long before it understands what is real. That is why you must learn to wear the mask of command. Without it, you invite scrutiny and attack. With it, you move through the world shielded, untouchable, treated with respect that reinforces your own self-respect. In modern life, this mask is not deception. It is discipline in presentation. Posture signals strength before a word is spoken. Tone signals authority before an argument is made. Style signals seriousness before results are delivered. People read you in seconds. If your shoulders sag, your voice trembles, your clothing signals neglect, the crowd assumes weakness. If your presence is upright, your tone steady, your choice is deliberate, you project sovereignty. The prey waits to be judged on hidden potential. The player ensures the first impression commands respect. Think of the mask as a shield forged in fire. Every past failure, every insecurity, every moment of doubt is melted down and hammered into protection. The arrows of judgment will still fly, but they will glance off. You do not remove fear by showing fear. You remove fear by projecting commands even when you are uncertain. Confidence is rarely absolute. It is often a choice of stance repeated until it becomes second nature. The mask is not a lie. It is the visible part of your discipline. Language sharpens the effect. Weak. I think maybe we could. Strong. Here's what we will do. Weak. I hope this works. Strong. This is the plan. Weak. I'm sorry to bother you. Strong. I need a moment of your time. Small changes harden the mask, ensuring your presence is interpreted as leadership rather than hesitation. You will meet resistance. Someone may say you are being too serious, too composed, not casual enough. Do not explain or dilute your stance. Respond with calm firmness. This is how I carry myself. That statement is not arrogance. It is a declaration of boundaries. Respect grows where clarity stands. The mask of command is armor in a world that tests every sign of weakness. Without it, you remain prey, vulnerable to attack and dismissal. With it, you become a player, shaping how others treat you and reinforcing how you treat yourself. The mask does not hide your power, it announces it before you speak. Wear the mask until respect becomes your face. The greatest enemy you face is not outside your walls, but seated inside your throne room. Weakness does not always arrive as an open attack. It disguises itself as excuses, as complaints, as the quiet whisper that tells you to settle. Psychology calls it learned helplessness, the state where repeated failure convinces you that effort is useless. Once that belief takes root, you no longer need chains. You become your own jailer. To move from prey to player, you must kill this enemy within. The transformation begins when you choose decisive agency over passive surrender. The prey complains. They focus on what is unfair, what others did to them, what circumstances prevent them. Their energy leaks into resentment instead of strategy. You can hear it in language. I can't because they won't. I tried, but it's impossible. This is prey speech. Weak, defeated, addicted to excuses. The player calculates. He may acknowledge hardship, but he immediately moves to action. This barrier exists. Here's how I'll move around it. Same reality, different response. One bleeds power by repeating defeat. The other forges strength by directing will. The difference is not talent. It is mindset sharpened into a blade. Imagine the duel inside your own throne room. On one side, the shadow self that clings to weakness, demanding sympathy and relief. On the other, the sovereign self that refuses to kneel. You stand between them, forced to choose which will rule. The assassin within you is not cruel toward others. It is the merciless execution of your own excuses. Each time you silence the victim's voice and act with clarity, you strike down that shadow. Each time you indulge it, you let it regain the throne. You cannot serve both. Only one can rule. This discipline must show in your language. Weak. I don't feel like it. Strong. I've decided to do it. Weak. Maybe I'll try later. Strong. I'll handle it now. Weak. That's just how I am. Strong. I will change what doesn't serve me. Each correction is a cut from the assassin's blade, killing hesitation before it kills you. You will encounter disagreement. Someone may scoff when you stop complaining about circumstances and instead focus on solutions. They may accuse you of being cold or unrealistic. Do not defend yourself with long arguments. Reply calmly, I don't waste time on blame. I spend. Say it on action. That ends the debate without apology. Command is silent authority, not noisy defense. The prey in you must die so the player can live. This death is not dramatic. It happens in moments, when you choose action over complaint, when you shut down excuses, when you refuse to betray your own discipline. Each cut is small, but together they end the reign of weakness. Kill the prey within before it kills you. Strength grows where you starve weakness. Neuroscience confirms this principle. What you practice repeatedly strengthens its pathway in the brain. Neural plasticity ensures that the actions you feed become habits, and habits become identity. Each choice wires you toward prey or toward player. Every repetition is training. You are not simply living through days. You are shaping which wolf inside you will rule. In daily life, this truth is brutally clear. The prey feeds weakness. They choose the bar over the gym, the scroll over the book, the excuse over the action. Each small indulgence is a meal served to the wrong wolf. When you embrace this posture, others will test it. A colleague may dismiss your point in a meeting, expecting you to scramble for approval. Do not argue or chase their acceptance. State your position once, firmly, then let silence enforce it. Authority is not won by shouting. It is secured by composure that cannot be rattled. This unnerves those who rely on intimidation. Respect is the inevitable result. Becoming untouchable does not mean isolation. It means independence. You still form alliances, build relationships, and seek success. But you no longer base your self-respect on outcomes you cannot control. Your throne is internal, built on stone, and no one can pull you off it. That energy is rare, and people feel it instantly. It commands without force. Stop begging for respect. Stop asking for crowns from others. Build the throne inside and sit on it with stillness. When you no longer need validation, you become the one validation seeks. Be the crown no one can take. Transformation is not polite. It is violent, decisive, irreversible. The prey in you must die for the player to be born. Every principle you have carried, ruling the mind, mastering mornings, weaponizing stillness, cutting weakness, wearing the mask, killing excuses, feeding strength, strategizing life, forging discipline, becoming untouchable, now converges. Alone, each is a tool. Together they form the crown. The shift is final because the habits of prey cannot coexist with the sovereignty of the player. One must burn so the other can rise. History is filled with men who enacted this death and rebirth. Julius Caesar, after capture by pirates, returned, not as victim, but as conqueror, executing the very men who once mocked him. Napoleon rose from obscurity, exiled once, returned again, and reshaped Europe by sheer will until his final fall. They understood that power does not ask for permission. It demands transformation. A ruler is not defined by avoiding failure, but by reinventing after it. The same law applies to you. Collapse is not the end if it becomes a forge. Modern life shows the same pattern. Athletes torn by injury who rebuild with greater discipline than before. Leaders cast out of companies who return sharper, forming empires of their own. Entrepreneurs mocked in their failures who re-emerge with businesses that command industries. The world respects those who turn humiliation into steel. Respect is not lost in defeat. It is lost when you accept defeat as identity. When you refuse that identity, when you rise again, respect returns doubled. Picture it with clarity. The carcass of the prey burns, its fur, its fear, its hesitation, all consumed by fire. From the ashes rises the predator, crowned, calm, eyes forward. The throne inside you is no longer contested. The assassin has done his work. The weak self lies silent. The crowned self breathes. This is not a metaphor alone. It is what happens. When you replace complaint with action, distraction with ritual, weakness with strategy, the prey dies not in one grand moment, but in 1,000 daily executions. The player emerges not in dreams, but in decisions. Your language is proof of the rebirth. Weak, I can't change. Strong, I already have. Weak, I hope they respect me. Strong, I carry myself with respect. Weak, maybe, I'll try. Strong, I will. Every word you speak must be fuel to the fire, not water that douses it. Your tongue crowns the player or resurrects the prey. Guard it with the same precision you guard your mind. This transformation will be tested. You may face mockery when you shift your stance, when people notice you no longer play the role of victim. Someone may say you have changed, and they will not mean it as praise. Do not argue. Say calmly, yes, I've changed, and let silence prove the rest. That moment is not just disagreement. It is confirmation that the prey they knew is dead. Understand what is at stake. If you keep the prey alive, you remain chained. You keep apologizing, keep bending, keep being moved as a piece. If you kill it, you step into sovereignty. You become the strategist, the predator, the sovereign seated on stone. Respect no longer needs to be begged. It emanates, and the world adjusts. The player is not perfect. He still faces storms, but he does not bow to them. He rules within first, and that radiates outward. That is why the transformation must be total. There can be no return. When the prey dies, let it stay dead. When the player is born, guard him as you guard a throne. Burn the prey, rise as the player. Society only respects what commands itself. The world studies your posture, your tone, your choices, and decides whether to treat you as prey or as a player. Respect is not given out of kindness. It is seized through self-rule. The person who governs his mind, who maintains ritual discipline, who holds stillness under pressure, radiates an authority that cannot be ignored. The one who pleads, who apologizes for existing, who waits to be chosen, is dismissed without notice. You cannot beg your way to respect. You must carry it first, and then the world follows. Machiavelli warned that rulers do not survive by asking to be liked, but by mastering perception. Appear strong, appear steady, appear sovereign, and people treat you as such. Appear weak, indecisive, or dependent, and you invite chains. Reputation shields before truth is tested. That shield is forged by how you carry yourself daily. Stand tall even when uncertain. Speak clearly even when opposed. Move with purpose even when outcomes are unclear. The mask you wear shapes how others respond, and over time it shapes who you become. Modern life proves this constantly. In negotiations, the one who can walk away holds the leverage. In relationships, the one who respects themselves first commands respect from others. In work, the person who projects confidence is trusted with responsibility before the hesitant. Self-respect radiates outward. It is felt in silence, not shouted into existence. The player lives this truth. The prey denies it and pays the price. Weak, I need them to respect me. Strong, I respect myself and they respond. Weak, I hope they accept me. Strong, I decide how I stand. Weak, please notice me. Strong, my presence is enough. These are not just phrases, they are shifts in sovereignty. One voice pleads at the gates, the other sits already crowned. When you embody the player, others may test you. Someone may mock your calm or call your composure arrogance. Do not argue. Say steadily, I carry myself this way by choice. Then let silence close the matter. Authority does not chase approval. It remains unshaken in the face of resistance. The path is complete. The prey in you has died. The player stands. From this point forward, you do not ask for respect. You do not wait for crowns. You move as if already enthroned, and the world responds to the energy you radiate. Respect is not a gift. It is the reflection of how ruthlessly you respect yourself. Kill the prey, become the player, rule yourself and the world bows.